Wow, I hope you're not feeling after all this conversation, this is a pretty tall order. I need to be inspiring. I need to be authentic. I need to be vulnerable at times. I need to be transparent. I need to know how to adjust my style and approach depending on my audience. The good news is none of us should expect to do it alone. I liked the point you made, Mary, about the collaboration and the support of one another. So let's leave with each of you sharing some of your favorite resources, tools, any resources or advice that you want to share that can help leaders in this process. Let's lead off with you, Mary.
Yeah, so I want to be so encouraging to everyone of it's small pieces, it's small practices done over and over again that can help enhance your communication skills and your connecting skills. So I want to echo what Carrie said of please don't feel overwhelmed. And a couple of tips I'll highlight. So, I mentioned earlier this idea of human being versus human doing. So where are you creating space in your daily practice for the being part? Finding some kind of mindfulness practice, whether that's a meditation app, going for a walk, some kind of breathing practice, maybe one of those squeezy balls on your desk, but something that just invites you to pause. Number two, I encourage you to do some type of values assessment or taking stock of what do I want to center in my leadership? What do I want to have come across when I'm communicating? And you can do that on your own or do that with a coach. And number three is just practice. Finding places, low stakes places to practice being in that discomfort, right? Because we all have nerves or different things that show up for us when we feel like we're on the spot and we need to be perfect, which I hope we have now accurately dispelled for all of you. There's no need to be perfect anymore. What people really want is that realness. So where can you go practice being a little more real, a little more vulnerable, a little more authentic, and doing that in some lower stakes places where you can get that feedback so that you can then practice and kind of expand your circle of comfort of where you do feel more comfortable showing up in that way. And finally, keep learning. So I like to listen to podcasts, read books and articles, and I'll highlight a few things here at the GSB. We have a really fabulous Think Fast, Talk Smart podcast led by Matt Abrahams that has really nice bite-sized chunks and different topics and different speakers. He also has a great book. I also think PowerSpeaking has wonderful resources. So I want to lift up their website and encourage folks to visit that and just look for inspiration. But again, it can be small, repetitive actions over an extended period of time that can really make a difference for you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Mary. And we have a link to Matt Abrams' book and podcast. Check it out. I highly recommend it as well. All right. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, just echoing a little bit of what Mary said about mind and body, bringing positive energy into how you engage and communicate with your teams. We know the science of endorphins. And so I recommend in whatever works for you, create and protect that space on your calendar for some sort of physical activity that kind of gets the endorphins going. And you'll be amazed if you do that at the beginning of the day, how that just gives you more energy to just engage in a positive way throughout the day. And then from a podcast, from a book and learning perspective, what I would really recommend is challenge your senses. So there are so many formats that are available now to consume information. Don't just get locked into, I know some people love to have physical printed books and there's a place for that, but mix it up because you'll see if you take the audiobook route, sometimes when you're just consuming information through your ears, that there's a different experience, right? And how you internalize it. So really be diverse in terms of how you consume that information. And there's so much short form available video information where you can see others that are presenting, others that are communicating, learn from how they are doing it. And then lastly, what I would say is don't overlook the value of engaging your family and your personal network, even outside of your work organization, to give you feedback. I've had amazing experiences just with my spouse, just getting an objective perspective in terms of how I was going to approach a communication situation. You'll be amazed, even though they're outside the organization, sometimes that gives you a really unbiased filter and allow you to do that. So lots of additional best practice stories are available out on Market Impact Insights, the podcast, and of course in the Impact Makers book.
Terrific. Lots there, Dan. Thank you. Thank you. Mano, bring us home.
Everything that Mary and Dan said, and for me, the absolute critical thing is your personal values. So you can use, if your leaders and managers, your family is a safe place, your immediate team can be a safe place, and regular and often meetings with those people, repeated meetings with those people, to the point where this behavior becomes part of your natural behavior, where it becomes part of your personal values, and then you're there, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And give yourself grace and the freedom to take some risk. We talked about it's not about perfection, it's about connection.